California is now under a statewide stay-at-home order.
Governor
the first
Newsom
state
will
to
keep
take that
essential
step.
businesses open.
This
That
is what
means
Governor
things
Gavin
like
Newsom
banks,
had to say
also grocery
last
stores.
night.
March 2020. Nothing says biblical like California's statewide shelter in place, right?
So March 12th, 2020, I am performing Christina Wong for Public Office, the only second live performance of the show. And the students all are checking their phones halfway through the show. And as it turns out, they're getting a text from the campus saying we are going online until further notice. And so all my shows are postponed. I head back to Koreatown, Los Angeles. I am deemed non-essential. I'm sitting at home going, what am I gonna do with myself?
Oh God, what am I to do now? Scroll. So masks to stop the COVID pandemic?
So I sew my sets, and I sew my props. I've never sewn medical equipment. I sit down at my Hello Kitty sewing machine, the same sewing machine that I've sewn many of my sets on, and I follow this pattern that I see on the internet, and I make a terrible home sewn mask. But I'm so proud of myself because I have an essential skill, and I've just made something that could potentially be the difference of life or death to the person who wears it. And in a matter of days, I have made a finite number of masks with like t-shirts and things like that in my house. And the requests are just growing exponentially. And I'm freaking out. And I have another bright idea, which is like, I'm gonna start a Facebook sewing group, and I'm gonna find people who also are sewing who just have leftover masks and have them send them to all the people who I keep overpromising that I will send masks to.
Sewing was passed down to us from our mothers and grandmothers who learned it as a rite of passage to America.
My family came to San Francisco as immigrants from China. They're fleeing communism. And my grandparents on my father's side had a laundry and alterations business. And that was a very common immigrant profession for immigrants from Toisan. And I spent my first years of life being watched by my grandmother in their laundry. Growing up as a kid, I didn't really see anyone of my demographic making as a living as an artist. So for me to want to make my own kind of shows, to tell stories of my own life, that was totally unheard of. I very much grew up in a family where you don't share your dirty laundry, you don't talk about the ways you are a failure. But that's, to me, what the beauty of a one-person play is that you get to see a person fail out loud for an hour and really empathize and be with them.
April 6th, 2020. 10,000 COVID deaths in America. And with the spike come hundreds of brave new aunties ready to enlist.
And so Auntie Sewing Squad begins to shift from just sort of a collective where we sort of share information to a whole supply chain and labor chain and care chain that also specifically figures out how to seek out and vet organizers in vulnerable communities that need masks.
I am the default leader of these aunties, ensuring a machine-like output from our bodies, threatening to snip the fingers off any slackers, making the masks that the most powerful country in the world has failed to provide. This is my ancestral destiny. I am the sweatshop.
By the end, there were over 800 aunties across 33 states. We'd made 350,000 masks. And I really saw what it would look like if you had a comedian run FEMA.
A quilt made for me by 189 contributing aunties.
So the Auntie Sewing Squad, we existed for 504 days. We were started on March 24th, 2020. We retired August 15th, 2021. We had this retirement party in Los Angeles, and they surprised me with this quilt that they had been working on. Over 100 aunties contributed to this quilt, They each contributed a 7x7 square. This big quilt sort of represents all these people who, and I don't know that I will ever meet all of them in person, but I feel so close to all of them. What do I say now is thank you. Thank you so much for choosing something different than panic, for choosing to give of yourself, for asking, how can I help? If you start to shift acknowledging people in those ways and celebrating people the way that artists celebrate people and experiences, and take that perspective to government, to companies, to schools, I think it would completely shift how we respect each other and relate to each other. So art is essential, yeah.